Hi. So for this video, we had to talk to someone who is a digital immigrant, and ironically, my grandfather, who is 81 years old, actually brought up something about me using my cell phone while I was at dinner. He asked me what I would do without my cell phone, and so we kind of just got into this topic at dinner table, and he said that obviously when he was younger they didn't have things like that, and to even have a house phone back then, it would be a luxury. So, and he also said that they had these things called party lines, which I had never heard of, so I had to ask him what that was. And he said that there were 4 more houses or families on one total house phone, not house phone, like phone line, and none of you could use it at the same time. So you had to wait for the call, another family to be called, like not be using it, or you had to, like there was no such thing as call waiting back then either, so they had to, if someone missed them, they had to keep trying till there was no busy dial tone. So that was a lot different, and obviously they didn't have cell phones, and I handed him my cell phone, and he did not know what to do, and I tried to teach him, and he still thinks that the internet is something that only certain people can get, and he always asks me if he can get to certain websites on his computer and that I'm on my computer, so he really doesn't understand anything about the internet. Another thing that he really talked about was how, like, if you were carpooling somewhere, that you wouldn't really know if people were going to the same place, or if someone got lost. That's something I think a lot of us take for granted, because, like, if we're all carpooling somewhere, like a family vacation or something, and someone takes a wrong turn or you don't see them anymore, you just call them on a cell phone and say, like, where'd you go, or are you okay? Then if you, like, wanted to meet someone, you had to stay right behind them and make sure that no one got lost. And he told a story how they were driving up to Vermont and they all made a rest stop, and somehow they all magically ended up at the same place, which they all ended up at the same McDonald's, which I'm guessing that was pretty rare back then because they had no way of communicating. Before cell phones, my parents would communicate through walkie-talkies going from places. So the cell phone has helped communication immensely for even simple things like that I think we definitely take for granted. So my grandfather also says that, like, they have such better communication skills than we ever will, which is probably true, because we can't get through, our generation, a lot of people have trouble getting through dinner without looking at the time on their phone, checking their messages, checking their email, or even playing a game. Now parents at restaurants, they'll bring an iPad and they'll let their kids watch a movie while they're eating dinner at a restaurant to keep them quiet so that they behave. My grandfather said that when he was younger, they'd have to come up with their own entertainment. So they would play games in the street. They would play games outside. They would play card games, and so they'd have to make up everything and use their imagination too. And any communication that they had to do had to be face to face or through a letter. So they'd have to actually go up and talk to people, and they wouldn't be able to hide behind the technology like a lot of the people in our generation do. But that is pretty much all we talked about. I think that we also talked about how, like, he chooses not to use it because he doesn't understand how to, and that's something that for our generation isn't really an option. For a digital native, it's not really an option. It's something that you were born into, and it's just kind of what's socially accepted now to have a cell phone. At the age of, like, 10 or 11 is when people start getting cell phones, and to, like, have all these things, have a computer, have an iPad even. Like, some schools are going outrageous with those types of things, and that's not something that would have happened 10, 15 years ago. Like, everything's just evolving so much faster, and it's hard to keep up with. But Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, bye.